Hey, this is Dave the Snake Guy here. I wanted to share a story with you guys. A lot of times I'll put out a lot of different information online and hopefully it helps people, but it's not often that I get someone that comes back to me and tells me a story where they were able to use some of my knowledge that I shared. And today I've got a really great story for you. It's about a little girl named Savannah. She was taking a vacation with her parents and she was bitten by a copperhead. And luckily, her mom had read what to do and was able to get her to treatment quickly, and it turned out really well. Enjoy the story, guys.
3 years ago, Savannah went camping with us. It was me, my husband, two of our friends, and a handful of boys. We got to the campsite around, I'd say 3 o'clock is when I got there with the kids. They went swimming in Greenbrier Lake for a little while. We just hung out, and my husband got there around 5 or 6 with all the equipment. But we just swam and played and ate and like McDonald's, and then we set up camp. And then about 9:30 we were finishing setting up, and everyone was starting to fire up the grills and cook food. And Savannah went down to our other campsite to go pick up snacks for my girlfriend who was down there. And on her way back, she was walking past our truck, and the door thankfully was open. She screamed, and it was a scream you would never want to hear come from your child. And she's my 4th kid, and I've never heard this scream before.
Yeah, it's that kind of scream you just know something's wrong.
Gut-wrenching, yes.
Yeah.
And so we all ran down to her. She was already in the truck. And she was only 3, and she kept saying, "The ground bit me, the ground bit me."
Oof. That must have hurt, didn't it?
And we picked her up, and we saw the wound on her ankle. She was barefoot. Our fault. She shouldn't have been barefoot, but live and learn.
I mean, you're out there,
She's
you're
a
having
3-year-old,
fun.
yeah.
You were out by the
She
lake,
was 3.
having some fun.
And we picked her up, and we noticed the wound, and then we grabbed the first aid kit immediately and wiped it off because we thought it was a raccoon scratch because we'd seen one in the area earlier. And it wasn't a raccoon. Indeed, wasn't a scratch. We cleaned it off, and you saw the puncture wounds immediately. You saw the 2 fang marks, and within minutes, her foot was starting to turn purple. Cleaned it off, and my husband was like, "That's a snake bite. She needs to go to the hospital right now." So we immediately moved her car seat, and quick thinking, we're like, okay, well, it's faster for us to get her to the hospital than for the ambulance to get in here. The gates are closed. We have to tell them what campsite number we're at and all that stuff, and the roads are narrow. We're just taking her. So I jumped in the truck with her along with my girlfriend who was with us. My husband stayed at the campsite with the boys because we have 3 kids out there. They all need parents.
Yeah, someone's got to stay behind and watch after
And make sure they stay calm because they were scared to death too. I Google searched, and Meredith Hospital was the closest hospital. Now, I was familiar with it because my mom doesn't live too far from there.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, Meredith Hospital it is because it's right there. I called them and to let them know that we were on our way and what we were coming in with. And the poor girl on the other end, I mean, I was speaking frantically and fast, and she took a second to understand what I said. And I told her I need staff ready because this is an actual emergency.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we brought her up. I got her there in 7 minutes.
It was a 15-minute Google trip.
Yes, it was supposed to be 15 minutes. The whole car ride there, she's obviously crying. My girlfriend that rode with me kept trying to console her and asking her not to cry because that's what we do. Hey, baby, don't cry, don't cry. I'm like, no, we need to hear her crying. We need to know she's conscious and breathing because at any point that can change. And I kept telling her on the car ride there, my job is to get you to the hospital. Once we get you to the hospital, the doctors will take you and they will make you feel better. I literally just kept chanting that to her over and over and over again.
Probably also to yourself, you're probably panicking in the moment.
But I was in fight or flight.
I remember my mother had this, or tells me this story where when I was a kid, I fell out of a wagon that my brother was pulling, and I slammed my head on the concrete and started having a seizure.
Oh gosh.
And she was just kind of in adrenaline
The
mode,
adrenaline is
and
unreal.
they called 911. She's helping me. The EMTs come. They get me on the ambulance. My dad hops in with me. She's gonna go with my grandmother to the hospital and follow us. And as soon as the doors closed to the ambulance, she said, "Okay, now my responsibility is over," and she passed out.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
So I mean,
It's just
that
the
mom
adrenaline. Yes, it's unreal.
is real.
And so I got her to the hospital. I pulled up. I parked where the ambulances go. I got her out of the car, took her right in, and sure enough, there was 3 staff members standing there waiting for her. And they took her from me. The admissions coordinator took my driver's license and her insurance information, and they took her. Oh, they started her on morphine. So, mind you, she's tiny, and you see how small she was then. The nurse was talking to her, back in the back, the nurse was talking to her, and she goes, "Okay, sweetie, I'm going to take this little needle, and I'm going to put it in your arm." And Savannah looked at her with the clearest eyes and was like,
"Okay, do it.
Do whatever you have to do.
I want the pain to stop.
Just make it better. Mommy said you're going to make it better. Get started on that right now."
That's a good thing.
So they started her on morphine immediately. They took quick pictures of her foot and sent them, I know, to Children's Hospital, and I know poison control, and they said something about a snake something, but again...
Yeah, I mean, you're on so much adrenaline
a lot of
anyway.
their words were in one ear, not the other.
Okay.
So they sent the pictures off, and I mean, it wasn't very long where they were like, yes, it was a copperhead snake bite. And they're like, okay, we have the antivenom. We're going to start on a very slow drip for 30 minutes to make sure she doesn't have any adverse reactions. And this was literally the slowest drip. It was probably a drip a minute.
And you're probably going in slow motion as well.
My mom doesn't live far, so her and my stepdad drove down to come be with me because I mean this is his apple right here.
You want to come support it?
And are you a Pops girl? And so they did the 30 minutes. The nurse set her timer on her watch. As soon as the timer went off, she came in. She looked her over real fast. She took her vitals and she says, "Okay." And I mean, it was like not even 15 minutes. The rest of the vial was in her system. And then that's when they told me that Children's was on their way to come get her.
Wow.
I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, yes, Children's Hospital sent in a medevac up.
Oh, we forgot to tell you.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, we need a medevac." And she's like, "Well, she needs to be in ICU, and we don't have a pediatric ICU, so she has to go to Children's." So I called my husband, who's still at the campsite. Like, so there's something in the medevac. He was like, "Is she okay?" Like, I mean, they got the antivenom in her. She's breathing. She's conscious. But we're going down to the city. So he said, "Okay." And then I wish he was here to explain that he's at the campsite, similar to this.
Yeah.
And he sees the helicopter fly over him, coming to the hospital.
Wow.
And then he watches it fly back off. He's like, and there goes my life in the helicopter right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wonder what it must have felt for him at that moment.
He felt helpless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we get in the medevac, and I'm able to fly with her. I asked them initially whether we're going to be able to fly with her. They said, well, that depends on who they send. If they send just the flight nurse and a nurse from the hospital, yes. If there's a doctor with them,
Probably.
nope. So, alright. So, waited, and thank the Lord it was only the 2 nurses, so I was able to stay with her.
Okay.
So we flew back down, then that's where...
I thought the guy in the jumpsuit,
he was a pilot.
he was a pilot. Okay.
Yep.
That brings me to probably my favorite picture out of the series of every day. Was seeing those 3 people, that nurse, that administrator, and that pilot, all kind of in motion, and the clock on the wall. I mean, when you get into that situation, there's a protocol for a reason, because time is tissue, and you want to get things going, and you want to get the treatment on schedule as quick as we can do.
When they started her antivenom, they marked her ankle where the swelling and bruising had stopped, and they wanted to make sure it did not go past that, go beyond that. So that's why she had the markings and all that to monitor that. And
Did it ever progress past
no,
it?
thank God.
Good.
So we're in our helicopter, we're flying to DC. She's out of it. She's on morphine.
Yep.
And the pilot is in my, because I have my headset on too, and he's like, you might as well pull your phone out and take videos, because this is probably the only time you'll ever be in a helicopter over DC. They are the only ones with permission to fly. Them in the military. So got my videos. Yeah, what do we go to DC for?
You go to the museums?
Do we go for the fireworks? Yes.
Oh, that's fun. That's really fun.
So now we're in DC.
What'd you find? What'd you find?
All emissions.
Oh, wow.
So we get to DC, and I'm by myself at this point. My friend who rode with me, she drove my truck back to the campsite, and my husband got in the truck and started to make his way to the Capitol.
Okay.
Now, we decided for the other kids to just go ahead and stay and finish their camping trip, because this was a very fluke thing that happened.
Yeah.
It's not like the snake was like, wow, it's like it was a bear looking for food, or it was just a very...
And this is probably on a Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the campsite's been clear the whole week, and then all of a sudden these people are coming in and setting up.
Yeah.
And it's making a lot of noise and moving some of the resident animals outside of the campsite.
So we decided for the boys to all stay and finish out the weekend and have a good time, and that's where the fishing picture came in.
Okay.
They were doing that while we were nice of you.
Well, I mean, it's a good way to keep your mind off.
What were they going to do? Just go home and worry the whole weekend?
Yeah.
Just at least have some fun and do the
Mommy,
trip.
and the day when we went home, I slept so
Oh yeah.
See, you remember
I
that?
saw that video.
You
That was
remember
pretty
that?
cool. You were so happy to be home and not eating hospital food.
We get to Children's and they take us down to the PICU.
So you were telling me that you were up camping at Greenbrier, and you had seen one of my posts before on Facebook or Nextdoor. You're over in Bowie, and you had read probably my article about Copperheads and venomation. And you're an ex-Boy Scout over there, so he's got a little bit of knowledge about things. And
Her and baby were medevac from Meredith Hospital from Children's. They came up and got her, and then flew her back to Children's. And Children's sends their own helicopter to go get them.
But the hospital where you went had anti-venom?
Yes.
Yes, it was a
perfect.
It was the trauma center. Only trauma centers carry antivenom.
Yeah. And very specialized places. Sometimes you can get it at the zoo.
There you go.
Yeah.
A total of 10 vials of anti-venom.
10 vials. Wow. And she has no lasting nerve damage or anything now?
She's had no nerve tissue damage, no problems with her feet, balance, can feel everything, no color discoloration or anything.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just like it almost never happened almost, which is kind of great for her at that age, you know?
So I think you guys got the treatment in quick enough that it wasn't, going to cause a whole lot of damage. They always say time is tissue in those kind of situations. That's where you send it to.
Changing colors when it's time to go.
Oh yeah, you started to see it turn purple and yellow and stuff like that. Wow.
That was at the hospital.
Yep. I like for her story to be heard.
Actually, she was mad at us because when we left the hospital Sunday, we didn't take her back to the campground.
Oh, she wanted to go back camping.
She wanted to
it was fun for her.
This is the fun one.
Well, I'm glad.
What you gonna do? What else? And then we actually had a little pet snake, a little snake in our garden this summer, and she was like scared.
That's great. That's great.
She's my little nature girl.
Did you?
And
we weren't that far.
I'm gonna say we were maybe here to that guy, is where the farthest adult maybe was from her. So we had 2 campgrounds. One campground was right there, and our friend was setting up their tents over there. And we think that when they came in to set up the tents, it scared the snake across which came across where she was walking in between them.
Yeah.
And our truck was happening to be right in between them. She actually jumped up in the truck
Okay.
right after she stepped on it. She
Well-
said it was squishy.
Yeah.
It had just gotten dark, and like I said, people had just at the other campground had just gotten there, and they started coming in, and then we're thinking that snake came from bathing in the sun over there. All day.
Said, I got to get out of here.
And going down to the valley, there was a little gully behind us in the woods, so we think it was going back that way.
Gotcha. Okay.
Fortunate events.
Well, yeah, that's all you can do is just take a rake with you or a broom and sweep the area when you get to places like that. Take a good look around and just keep a diligent eye. And it sounds like you guys did the exact right thing. You followed the protocol. You got her to treatment quickly. She got the antivenom quickly because you knew what to do. And it seems like that's the best outcome.
Next camping trip, she's gonna let her boots go.
Oh, great. All right, guys. Well, I'm so happy to meet you and hear your story.